Good evening, and thanks to you for tuning in. Tonight's lead, new documents from police and new questions. Tomorrow marks 2 weeks since Michael Brown's death, and the spotlight is now on the search for answers. With the release of this document by the Ferguson Police Department, it's labeled an offense incident report, but it contains almost no details, only the date, time, and location of the shooting. Ferguson police say they never completed an incident report because they turned the case over to the St. Louis County Police almost immediately. But the St. Louis County Police Department did its own incident report, and it's almost as sparse. No synopsis of what happened, no details, no interviews. In fact, there's hardly more than the barest bones. The time, the date, the location, the name of Michael Brown, and the word homicide. Almost everything else is blank, and for that reason, is raising new questions. Time magazine writes today about the incident reports, quote, "The glaring lack of detail is likely to increase widespread criticism that the law enforcement community is closing ranks around Darren Wilson." The big question tonight, is there a good explanation for this lack of detail? Joining me now are MSNBC analyst and retired ATF analyst Jim Cavanaugh and prosecutor and legal analyst Paul Henderson. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us, Rev.
Thanks, Reverend.
Jim, what's your reaction to the lack of detail in these documents?
Well, I don't understand why there's no narrative in the St. Louis County incident report. I think that's pretty lacking, Reverend. When an officer is involved in a shooting, a lot of times that officer does not prepare an incident report because they've been involved in a violent act. They're stressed, they're upset, they could be wounded, injured, and, maybe the sergeant will write it, and then that officer will be interviewed the next day, usually by homicide or something. So I can understand that process. I don't think that's an unusual process. And the officer, no doubt, or at least I hope he was interviewed by St. Louis County Homicide Bureau detectives within a day. That would be normal. But for the county report to be just lack of all narrative, not even to mention the general aspects of what occurred, not that they had to put in the officer's statement, but, Michael Brown was a victim of gunshot wounds. He was found at this location. Has nothing, absolutely nothing. So it breaks the trust with the people.
Yeah, and Paul, when you think of what we're hearing here, you had Michael Brown killed. You had some saying that the officer was injured. I mean, there's a whole lot that would have had to happen if the officer went to the hospital or the police there. No report of any of this? How could there be no documentation of anything?
Well, I'm sure there is documentation of many of the things that you're talking about, because also what's missing and what's lacking and what was turned over are witness statements that were collected at the time, evidence, and here's why the evidence is important. Like, where did you collect gun shells?
Right.
If there are gun shells, where were they picked up? Were they near the car? Were they on the street? Were they in a line that would indicate where and how he was shot? Any of the gunshot residue, if that was collected, any of the information that could be turned over has not been turned over. And, these are things that are part of the problem and why there's a lot of distrust about what this process is.
But on top of that, Paul, there's no synopsis, there's no narrative. So even if you had the particulars and you don't, it's according to what narrative?
Right, and understand, Reverend, that narrative probably does exist. I can't imagine a circumstance that narrative doesn't exist. What's going on is that because there are concurrent investigations that are going on right now and a grand jury that's going on right now, that narrative is in use. That canvassing, that information is in use.
But Jim, the narrative may be in use, but when you do an incident report, as you just said, that day or day after, no one knows a grand jury, no one knows the federal, nobody knows any of that's coming. Where is the incident report? You would want someone in the investigations to say, this is what they said immediately.
Yeah.
This is what they said why they were picking up the shells. This is what they said if the officer, in fact, did go to a hospital. You don't want that. You can't say that, oh, we knew in our crystal ball that the Attorney General was going to call a parallel investigation, Jim. So where is the immediate incident report that has no incidents?
Well, and I totally agree with that, Reverend Alley. You know, Paul is correct. I mean, he's speaking from a grand jury aspect and a legal aspect. But, you know, police chiefs and commanders, they have to deal from also the aspect, not only the legal aspect, but they have to deal from the aspect of how the community reacts and what they see. And if citizens think that law enforcement is hiding the ball, you know, they lose trust. And trust is absolutely essential to police in a democracy. Now, sometimes you don't get a report, or it's not made, or it can't be given out because it's grand jury material. But I can tell you over the years, I've had a lot of success at dealing with the critical things in the communities, bombings, arsons, murders, shootings, and letting people know, this is what I got, this is what I'm telling you, this is what I can't tell you, and the reason I can't is this. And so just make it clear to the citizens and they'll understand.
Now, along those lines, Paul, we don't know much from the St. Louis County incident report, but we do know that it took 10 days before it was reviewed internally. 10 days. It wasn't reviewed until August 19th, this past Tuesday. Now, you have the trust of the community already waned. Now you're going to 10 days later mark an incident report that doesn't have any incident in it?
Right. Now, that is unusual. And then just as you brought up that point about trust from the community, one of the big concerns is as you are editing out, as you are making decisions about what you will release to the public, one of the concerns that the community has is you are leaking out or releasing information that is denigrating the victim. You are denigrating the person that was shot. So while you can't release the narrative, you can release this video that supposedly shows Michael Brown engaged in some sort of crime. While you don't release witness statements, you can leak out or give out information indicating that there may have been marijuana in Michael Brown's system. While you are not explaining what evidence was collected, where gunshot residue may have been taken in or being evaluated, you can have all these conversations that denigrate Michael Brown. And so all I'm saying here is these things are all a problem. That lack of trust is just growing broader and broader here. And the days that it took for that report to be filed and reviewed, that's another problem. One of the things, at least for me, that makes me feel more comfortable is that the federal government is evaluating all of these things. These are smart people. They know what they're doing. They are evaluating this at the same time and asking these same questions that you are raising at the same time to figure out whether or not there could be civil rights charges against this very department,
Jim,
exactly for how this case is being handled.
But Jim, and what I'm saying is, and we nowhere know if there's anything wrong here, but it raises questions.
Right.
They may be completely right in the end, but it looks very, very funny when you can put out someone's video at a store where there's some shoplifting, but then you come out later, hours later, say, but it had nothing to do with the shooting. You can put out that he may have had something in his blood system, but we've got incomplete incident report. It's a matter of trust. It may all end up being explained, but how do you explain how you selectively dribble out what you want without people feeling you're trying to paint a narrative?
Right.
Right, and it builds on issues like Trayvon Martin, because he wasn't arrested that night when the detective at the Sanford police wanted to arrest him, and he wasn't. There was no charge for 44 days.
He shot Trayvon Martin. When you say he,
right? So the detective wanted to arrest him, and he didn't that night because the superiors wouldn't let him. So then there's no justice, there's no action, there's nothing moving. So cases like this build on the past, the recent past. Eric Garner in New York. It builds on those cases. People just want to see justice, and they don't want to beg for justice. They don't want to have to protest for justice. every single time they want justice, it has to be, they have to march and make signs and get civil rights leaders and elected officials. Should that be, that's not right. We all shouldn't have to do that to get justice. We all deserve to have justice. So that's an issue for the Attorney General. But I think they're going to move, the department's going to move, and the indication to me is the 40 FBI agents, the Attorney General going to Ferguson. I think they're looking real hard, real independent, and they can move without the state, Reverend Al, as you know, as a dual sovereign, the United States can move. If they see probable cause and it looks like there's a case that can be won in a trial, they can make an independent decision without the state to prefer a charge
so
if they
you
want
think
to.
that the federal government may come in and take this case?
Yeah, I think my read on what's happened with the 40 FBI agents, the Attorney General going in there, I think they're looking real hard at a color of law case under the Civil Rights Statute where excessive force by an authority figure, a police officer, is a violation of civil rights. And Paul knows what I'm talking about. So I think they're going to think about moving on that independently. They don't like to. They like the states to do it. Yeah. But I think that in this case, we're going to see probably some action along those lines.
You have a lot of experience, Jim. Do you think there's probable cause for an arrest of this officer?
I do, Reverend Al.
Paul,
I think there's probable cause.
Do you think there's probable cause for an arrest of this officer?
I do, but I just want to make the distinction again that there are different standards for an arrest versus a conviction versus a grand jury. They're all three different legal standards that are being used, but certainly for an arrest, there's more than enough based on what we know. And this is the problem, that we don't have the narrative to make full evaluations, and yet we do have hearsay information from the community.
Well,
we have some
we don't
conversations
have a
that we're hearing.
that counters it either. That's how we started this. Let me end it with both of you agreeing about probable cause. Jim Cavanaugh, Paul Henderson, thank you both for your time tonight. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Reverend. Thanks for having me.